In a world where two nerds come together to talk about all things nerdy, Just Us Nerds podcast was born. We talk about comics, movies, and all things in between. Get ready to have your mind blown by the most amazing podcast ever recorded anywhere, ever. The Just Us Nerds podcast. Aw, yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Us Nerds podcast. I am, of course, MJ. With me, as always, my stalwart companion, Chris. We are broadcasting to you from Hill Valley, California. The year is 1959. And if our calculations are correct, you should be receiving this broadcast by about April 2016.
Wow, Doc, that's heavy.
Okay, so, what'd you read this week, Chris?
Well, I read actually a bunch of comics. We'll start off with... Why don't we start off with the Twilight Zone? There's a new Twilight Zone series, and it actually involves one of my favorite heroes. Like I explained in the last podcast, I tend to like the older superheroes. So this one involves the Shadow.
He was on the radio, right? He was
yes.
the who knows what evil lurks in the minds of men.
In the heart of men.
In the heart of men. The Shadow knows.
The Shadow knows.
Sort of a Batman kind of character.
Kind of, except he actually has superpowers. The Shadow is known to actually become and transform himself into a shadow. He can...
Makes sense.
He blocks out his image to villains to make himself invisible, but the only thing that shows is his shadow. Okay. Another thing he can do, he has mind control and that kind of stuff, but...
Okay. But a scary sort of... He predates Batman.
Yes, and he uses guns.
Okay. Yep,
that was the other thing, too. So he uses guns. I liked this comic. I thought the art was really good.
It's sort of interesting, though, the concept of... You have the Twilight Zone, which is sort of its own anthology by itself, and now we're introducing... I don't think we've ever seen this before, where we've had a fictional character...
Into something like that.
Into another fictional kind of anthology like this.
Right, so it's written by David Avalon. The art's done by Dave Acosta. Dave Acosta's done some beautiful work. This is more like a 90s bright color, you know what I mean? So... It, like I said, it read really well. It was kind of easy to get through. You know, it wasn't like full of dialogue or full of... Are
you a fan of the original Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Does it have the same tone of that show?
Yeah, I guess so. But basically, I don't want to give everything away, but you know, it starts off with the Shadows doing a mission against the neo-Nazis. You know?
All right.
So we've already got Nazis. I hate those guys.
I hate that. Not something about Nazis. They are the perfect villains.
Right.
It's like just anything. Who can't get behind hating the Nazis, right? Except for, I guess, if you were a neo-Nazi.
I guess. So Lamont Cranston, who is the Shadow, it's the alter ego. It's actually kind of weird too. Is like when the Shadow takes over, he also kind of changes his face. If you notice, like his nose and his jaw become like longer and elongated, and then afterwards, he's, you know, it goes back.
Instant nose job.
Yeah.
Is just
instant.
Boom.
Instant.
Like that.
So, finishes his mission, whatever, hops in the car, which is kind of neat. He's kind of like a Green Hornet type where he's got a driver.
Okay.
So,
or the Phantom, even, for that matter. Because the Phantom had a driver, too, didn't he?
That's in the movie. He had a horse.
He had a horse? Okay.
He had a horse. But this guy's name is Shrevy. So, like Chevy, but with a, you know. Clever. But anyway, so they're involved in an accident, and when he wakes up, you know, the Twilight Zone actually kind of takes over.
Portrait of a man dressing up like a superhero. He is about to take a hard left turn into a dimension known as the Twilight Zone. Do they have that? Do they have anything like that?
No, because it just wakes up and then it turns into the Twilight Zone.
Oh, man, they can't. See, I'll give this a chance, but you can't have Twilight Zone without some Rod Serling, you know...
I'm waiting.
Rod
Serling might actually show up. We don't know yet.
Awesome.
But basically, I don't want to give everything away, but like I said, Lamont wakes up and he's no longer the Shadow. So it's kind of like the Batman animated series that we had talked about.
There's an episode, called... oh man, I had it a minute ago.
What Dreams May Come?
No, not What Dreams May Come. I think it was The Stuff That Dreams Are Made Of.
Yes.
So Batman gets knocked unconscious. He wakes up. He's Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And
No longer Batman.
No longer Batman. There is a Batman, and so that's kind of the same premise of
It's kind of the same premise, but what's actually kind of neat is he works for the Shadow. So he's one of his agents. Shadow has agents all throughout the city who report information and everything to him. It's kind of like his little, snitches guild. And so he, but that's kind of where it takes off.
It's an interesting idea. I mean, honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, I'm not going to look at that. But you've actually convinced me. I want to take a look at that.
I really enjoyed it. What about you? What have you read?
Who publishes that?
This is Dynamite. This is Dynamite Comics.
Dynamite! I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Nah, you set me up. Anyway, What are you reading?
All right. So this week I've read a couple things. I read 3 through 5 of Batman TMNT.
Okay.
I've read issue 4 of Dark Knight Returns Master Race, and I read a new comic out by Dark Horse called Aliens Defiance.
Now, does this have anything to do with the original movies or the new reboots that they're doing?
I think it takes place in the James Cameron continuity. There is actually So first of all, I think it's very appropriate that we're talking about this comic book because we had earlier this week, it was 426 or LV 426, the name of the planet that they go to in Aliens. So
Happy Aliens Day, by the way.
Happy belated Aliens Day. Go find a friend, give him a face hug.
Yeah, exactly.
For those of you that are fans of the movies and the video games, there was a video game that came out that was called Alien Isolation. Did you ever hear of that?
It sounds familiar, but it was something that I didn't get a hold of.
Well, in the video game, you play the game as Amanda Ripley. Oh. So it was Ellen Ripley's, Sigourney Weaver's character's daughter. If you remember in Aliens, we find out that when she wakes up from hypersleep, her daughter's been dead for like 5 or 6 years because she was gone out in space.
So this
long.
was after she became queen and all that, or
no. This happens. So this story, if we're
it's
giving
in between her hypersleep.
If we're giving it a chronology, it takes place in between the events of Alien. Because when Sigourney Weaver, when Ripley leaves her daughter in the first Alien movie, her daughter's a child. It was like I think they say in the movie Aliens that she last saw her on her 10th or 11th birthday.
Right.
So between the end of the events in Alien and the beginning of Aliens, because we see just a brief glimpse of Ripley, of Amanda Ripley.
So what's going on in this comic?
Well, the premise of it is that the company Weyland-Yutani, which is interested in getting this creature and bringing it back to use as a weapon, has enlisted this Marine called Zula Hendricks. Okay, so she's part of the Marine
so it's another girl.
Oh yeah, it's another girl. You only see Amanda Ripley. I mean, she only has what could be described as a cameo.
But what I'm saying though is you notice in Aliens, Cameron loved using a woman as his lead.
Oh yeah, strong
female type.
Leads.
Yeah.
So the premise of the movie is, I say movie because it is kind of like it's very cinematic in the way it's presented. The company has enlisted this Marine to go into a deep space salvage with a group of synthetics, and it's interesting because the soldiers they're not real, they're synthetics, like Bishop.
He was my favorite character.
Yeah. But these are, whereas Lance Hendrickson and Aliens had sort of an endearing quality, these synthetics have kind of they don't have pupils, so they all have blanked out eyes.
So they all look like Shredder, like we talked about.
They all look like Shredder. It's really, really disturbing.
Or Batman, if you will, as well.
Yeah, or Batman. So they recruit her for a deep salvage mission. They find this large ship that has been apparently abandoned. And, of course, what do they find on that ship?
Aliens!
A shit ton of aliens.
Yeah.
Lots of aliens. So, in the interest of not giving it away, I would say that I recommend this. The artwork on it is beautiful. I don't have that information pulled up, who wrote it, who drew it, but I really recommend it. And it's part of a series. So this is issue 1. So Dark Knight Returns 3, Master Race, issue 4.
Fat
Batman. You haven't read it yet, so
nope,
I
have not gotten a chance
yet.
Don't spoil it, or I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm not going to do any although that might make for some interesting radio. I'm not going to spoil it, but where do I begin with this?
Is it continuously going down the hill?
It's just, for me, it is. Yeah. For me, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's all bad because I don't want to hate on it, and it definitely has its bright moments. The artwork, as I've said before, continues to be really good. Adam Kubert is just he's really good with the artwork. I tend to not be liking really the characterizations of Superman. Not so much Batman. For it being a Batman book,
We're kind of used to it, aren't we?
I'm kind well with Frank Miller, yeah. But the interesting thing about this issue is, for it being a Batman book, I think when you read it, you're going to find there's really not that much.
There's not a lot of Batman.
There's not a lot of Batman in this Batman book. It's more focused on characters like Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman. I'd say the
Robin.
issue. I mean, even Robin or Catwoman or Catgirl or whatever you want to call her, Carrie Kelly. So I mean that's all I have to say about that. Maybe once you've had a chance to read it, we can do a more in-depth review of it. And Batman TMNT, I think we talked about that last time. I'm really just enjoying the hell out of that book.
Yeah, I like I said, from what I've read, I love it. I think it's a great storyline. I love the.
Are you caught up on it?
I believe so. I can't.
There is a moment. It's not. I don't think it's not a spoiler, but there's a moment where I find it was such a definitive Batman moment for me, and it's funny to see it in a crossover comic book. Mm-hmm. But in the story, do you remember? There's a point where Raphael gets kind of pissed off, and like in kind of true Raphael,
storms off,
and is like, "That's it. Forget it, you guys. This sucks."
Yep.
He's upset because by this point in the story, their only means of returning to their universe has been destroyed, and it's just a matter of time before the mutagen in their cells becomes completely inert, and they basically revert back to becoming regular turtles or just die.
Right.
So Raphael is just frustrated because it seems like all the other turtles aren't really...
They're doing other things. They're not focusing on the problem.
From his perspective.
Yeah.
So he storms out of the Batcave. Batman kind of tracks him down, follows him.
I did read this, yes. I
takes
did like
him to
this.
Crime Alley.
Yep.
And there's this really... I'm not going to do it justice, so I'll paraphrase, but just this great scene where he explains to Raphael, this is why I do what I do.
I didn't grow up to be... Because he even says, he goes, you're a wannabe freak.
This is what Raphael, says to Batman. Yeah, you're a wannabe freak. You do this for fun.
Yeah,
you do
that's
this,
it.
You do it for
thrills.
For thrills. You do it for kicks, basically.
Yeah.
And, had Frank Miller been writing this book, Batman probably would have told him to fuck off and punched him in the nose or something like that.
Crushed his skull with a brick.
His skull. And I'm so glad Frank Miller's not writing this book.
Look, Frank, I'm not going to lie to you. I love you. However, maybe that wasn't for you.
Frank Miller, I have great respect for you. You're a giant in the industry. You have done things I will never do in my lifetime. But I just lately, I'm not feeling your stuff. I apologize with all respect to you. Yeah. But the way that scene was written, Batman just explaining, this is why I do what I do, to prevent the tragedy that happened to me from happening to anybody else.
Yeah.
It was just a very human moment. And I think if you don't give Batman those human moments, you lose kind of what the essence of that character is.
Agreed. And that's why everybody gets mad when they're like, oh my God, are we really going to see his parents killed again? You got to understand, his whole world started from that point. You can say that was the birth of Batman, was at that point. So of course they're going to relive it and re-show it.
I'll add one thing to that too, Chris. Batman is... Why does he keep doing this night after night after night after night, dressing up like a Batman, like a Batman? He's dressing up like a Batman. Yeah, dressing up like a bat and beating the shit out of criminals. It's because in that perfect kind of metaphor for post-traumatic stress disorder, he relives that moment every single day. So I think you have, in a Batman movie, any Batman movie, you have to illustrate that. You have to show his parents getting killed and maybe come up with creative ways of doing it.
Right.
But that is the essence of the character. This is something it's not something that happened to him. It's something that is happening to him.
Right. It's a constant battle with him. And that's the thing. He's on a battle against crime, but there's a battle between himself. He always has that.
Yeah. The guilt. The guilt. Yeah. I should have done something.
But I like that. I did like that part where he shows him and, and Raphael kind of chills out a little bit. He
softens a little bit because he realized he was wrong about him. And too, that was very much, I thought the characterization was solid all the way through, because right down to the movies, the comic books, Raphael is that sort of Wolverine character.
The thing I was going to say, the one thing that I really liked was you can see that Batman relates the most with Raphael. You can kind of see that. And, you know, I mean, then again...
Like the rage, the anger.
Yeah, he's got that anger problem, and he's able to talk to him and try to kind of take him under his wing, if you will. And
wing. I see what you did there, sir. Well played, sir.
But... like I said, it's a really, really good part. I do suggest reading it.
I'm going to say one more thing, but I know you want to talk about Rocketeer. Yeah. One more thing, one scene that I really just enjoyed in that comic book is where Leonardo and Batman are sparring.
Yes.
And so Splinter's watching them spar, watching them fight, and then...
he's critiquing him.
He's critiquing him, and then Splinter says, he goes, you know, be careful
of your footing.
Watch your footwork. You know, he's playing with you. And so Batman says back to Splinter, his footwork looks fine to me.
Yeah.
And the Splinter's like, I wasn't talking to Leonardo.
Yeah. And that's another thing, too, which it kind of made me mad, but it kind of made me laugh, too, was that Leonardo actually throws Batman.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, nah, all right, listen. This guy is a master of every single form of martial arts ever to be in existence. He obviously would destroy these turtles. However, I'm sure, you know... maybe there's that slight chance.
I think, how do you show that a character is a badass? You have them at least once get the better of a badass character.
I'll give you that.
Right? So, I mean, how do you show how much of a badass Leonardo is? You do it by having him throw Batman. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, if Batman could just kick all of their asses, it's like, yeah, sure. Whatever. No one bats an eye at it. But it's... I think for storytelling purposes, it was really clever. Anyway, Rocketeer at War, issue number 2.
Rocketeer at War.
I have not read this, so...
All right. It continues, you know, this is an ongoing series. It is done by IDW. So once again, one of our favorite companies that we keep talking about.
IDW.
The plot, I love this. Plot and art is by Dave Bullock. So he's like, look, I got this idea. This is going to be the plot. And you're going to put that in the comic book.
You're going to do this.
So the actual script and written is by Guggenheim and
such a great name.
And Bullock.
Guggenheim. Is it Guggenheim? Yeah. Is this Guggenheim?
Yeah.
Very good.
So, but it kind of continues. Clifford Secord has been given the rocket. He now is on a mission. He actually starts off in a mission. He's in the Pacific. And not giving anything away, but it was actually kind of neat. He actually falls in the water, and
I see boobs.
Yeah, there's.
Why are there boobs?
They are nymphs, believe it or not. He calls them sea nymphs. But in term reality, he actually smacked his head pretty hard, and those are actually depth charges.
Oh man, I hate it when that happens.
We all mistake
breasts for
depth charges,
or the other way around. See, I did that again. I reversed it.
Yeah. Strike that, reverse it.
Strike that and reverse it. I hate it when you know what? Either way, I hate it when I mistake boobs for explosives and explosives for boobs. It's just either way. It's
a terrible thing. So, but he's on his mission, whatever, and and what's kind of neat is now they're actually glorifying the Rocketeer. They have him actually in the movie theaters, you know, and Betty's seeing him. And actually, this story actually has more to do with Betty because she kind of, not jealous, but she feels that she wants to do her part. So she actually becomes a USO girl, you know, to go over there and sing for the guys and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
We find out that Clifford actually has a team now. He's being led by some colonel. But he brings on PV, so we're happy to see his mechanic and his engineer.
Played epically by Alan Arkin in the original Rocketeer.
Yep. So, but he says that he needs help, and they actually call back to the guys at the airfield, and those guys, it becomes like a Black Hawk situation, so now they become a squadron.
Can you explain the Black Hawks for some of our listeners?
Black Hawks are...
all two of them.
Yeah. We're a group, by the way, we love you.
We do love you.
So the Blackhawks were a early group in the 40s, and they were a pilot from each member of the powers.
Like the Allied powers.
And they each were in the same plane, and the leader of it, his name was Blackhawk.
Okay.
And that was kind of his superhero thing, and they all had suits, which was kind of cool. They look like Kato, except on the chest they actually have the Black Hawk.
Yeah, they had like pilot's caps.
Right.
I know what you're talking about. They had like pilot's caps and they kind of uniform. Kind of one of the earliest like uniformed super teams.
Yeah. So and then they they did their missions and socked old Adolf on the jaw. Another thing, I still love that they keep doing this. They keep putting center posters.
That's nice.
And these are just beautiful. And they're ads. They're ads to buy IDW comic books.
I'll take a picture of that and post it on the Facebook page so people can
Take
check
a look.
it out. Make sure that you, if you're listening to us, if you're not listening to us on Facebook, check us out on our Facebook page. It's Just Us Nerds Podcast. Just do a search for that on Facebook, and I try to post pictures of the stuff that we reference, because I know it's hard sometimes to kind of imagine, with video games and television, just people's imaginations are just
Another thing
gone.
that's fantastic, actually, guys. I don't know where you're hearing this, but we are on YouTube and we're on SoundCloud, as well as putting our stuff up on the Facebook page. So you can get us on multiple.
We are available for you
Multiple
everywhere.
media.
We are nearing omnipresence.
So I don't want to give everything away, but I think this is only getting better and better. I'm really excited to find the third issue so that I can read that.
I have it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to read it. Okay, great. Well, now we're jumping into our current trends section. So this was the topic that I selected. The concept of the reboot slash relaunch.
Oh, here are the reboots.
So let me clarify what I mean about this, Chris. I'm just talking about any reboot or relaunch that has occurred either in a comic book movie, in a comic book or a movie property,
Right.
or just any piece of fiction where they discard all or most of the continuity and just start over new. So, for example, if you're not familiar with the concept, just speaking more to the people listening to this, the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield was a reboot of the Sam Raimi
Right.
series with
And
Tobey Maguire.
now we have Tom Holland,
If Tom Holland,
who's going to do his own reboot.
rebooted for a third time. And so that's just an example of the movies. In the comic books, this has actually been done a couple times in DC and Marvel, and I thought it was appropriate.
Yeah, we had the Ultimates. We had, the New 52 when they both did the reboots and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and even with New 52, which was DC, now they're going to be doing what's called Rebirth, which is going to take place actually this coming month in May.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of starting over again.
And I've already seen some of the images and something we're going to talk about.
You want to talk about it from a visual perspective.
From a visual perspective, I'm one of those. I thought the New 52, I actually thought it was beautiful. I actually liked a lot of the changes. I thought I liked the go fast lines.
Visually, talk about the go fast lines.
The go fast lines, and what I mean by that is, Batman's suit actually looked armored. It actually had little pieces in it. Flash, instead of just being all red, had like the yellow lines
kind
running
of segmented.
through. Yeah,
segmented.
It looked like piece by piece kind of a thing. And from a cosplay perspective, I was like, oh, okay, I can build it piece by piece.
Incidentally, I did try drawing go fast lines on some of my running clothing, and it did not make me any faster at all.
Sometimes you maybe you didn't draw them right.
That could be.
That might be it. I did like with Superman that they got rid of his underwear on the outside.
I'm a weird guy. I'm a traditionalist. I miss that. I've grown to accept it.
No, and I get that, but I liked. That's actually, and you know me, like, I like Superman. Don't get me wrong, but he's not one of my favorites.
I know.
But that depiction and drawing of Superman is actually one of my favorites. I love the collar. I love the red outline on the outside.
Do you know why, just before you move on with that, you know why the superheroes used to have the underwear on the outside?
Just faster to change?
No, it was because the comic artists based their appearance off like the wrestlers and luchadors.
Makes sense.
And so they wore their underwear on the outside, so it was made to look like a wrestling
God damn you,
outfit.
Mil Mascares.
See? That's right. So anyway, sorry.
No, but like I said, they turned Aquaman into a badass, which is something that I love. I'm a big Aquaman fan.
Here you are, you big Aquaman.
So for me, I was like, okay, finally we have, one of the comic book covers has Arthur's got, I forget who he's got down on the ground, but he's got the trident up against his throat, and it shows him kind of being a badass.
He's got they gave him kind of chops.
Yeah,
like
he's
mutton chops.
Well, he's a sailor. He's got to have the chops.
He's got to have the chops.
So, like I said, but then we had the Ultimates where they kind of changed things around.
Ultimates now, for those
Ultimates
listening,
Marvel.
this is Marvel. They kind of reimagined the Marvel universe with more of a contemporary update.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, what do you think about just the idea of let's start first with maybe just in comic books. What do you think about the concept of doing the reboot / relaunch? And let me correct myself. This rebirth, from what I've heard, it's not being considered as a reboot because they're not undoing the stuff that was
right.
It's more of a rebranding.
Well, the one thing that I love with them is they're like, oh, it's not a reboot. What do? Oh, it's in World 27, and you're like, come on, bro.
Yeah. They'll find kind of creative ways around that. But what's your opinion on that when they do this in comics?
I enjoy them. I think it's always fun to read new lines and how things work. But the thing is they gotta stop doing it every 2 to 3 years. You gotta stop doing that. Like, do it every...
Agreed.
Like, every 5 to 10. I mean, 5's a little on the newer side, but, leave it alone for a little while.
Let people... New 52?
Let me do some research.
Yeah. While you're looking that up, I'll just say I'm inclined to agree with you. It feels, I don't know how long it's actually been, but it feels as though the reboots have been occurring quite frequently. And I think that's more of a business decision. I'm sure it's more of a business decision rather than a creative decision.
All right, so New 52 was 2011.
All right, so
that's still really new.
Yeah, that's still pretty new to be
4 years
redoing it. It's a business decision.
Yeah, agreed. They're probably like, oh, our sales are dipping. Let's put Superman in a different suit.
See, because I think it was done to I know it was done to pull in new readers.
Oh yeah.
And some of the changes you talked about with New 52 I liked.
Yeah.
Some of them I really didn't care for.
Nope, I agree.
I'm more of a Superman fan than you are, and I really didn't like the way that they treated the character.
Like I told you,
in New 52.
I liked the drawing, but I didn't like that they made him a dick.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I love the banter between Bruce and Clark. I love that banter because it's light and dark. And this is just dark and darker.
If they're just both assholes, then it's just kind of like,
it's not
you're
fun.
A dick. Well, you're an even bigger dick.
Oh yeah? Well, you're an alien dick.
Martha.
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
All right. So, when's a reboot you can think of where it really did, where the timing was good, the changes really made a difference? For me, I think it's Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I'll agree with that. Comic book wise, yes. I thought that was a great reboot.
You want to explain maybe a little bit?
Oh no, why don't you?
People don't know what it is. No, by all means.
By all means.
After you, sir.
Yes. We're polite here on this show.
Oh, well, thank you. All right, so Crisis on Infinite Earths was a reboot, one of like the first, I think, major reboots that took place in the DC universe. It was in the 1980s, and at this point in the DC universe, you had all of this continuity for all of these characters that was really confusing. You had multiple Earths, multiple versions of Superman, multiple versions of Batman with all of these different histories, all of these different continuities. What Crisis on Infinite Earths did, and it's available in trade paperback. I encourage you to go out to your local comic book store, buy a copy. We got a couple places locally. If you're in the Central Florida area, I highly recommend Viera Comics, which is up on Wickham Road near Viera. I also recommend Gods and Monsters over in Orlando. That's fantastic. If you're closer to the kind of Melbourne, Palm Bay area, I recommend Famous Faces and Funnies. Harumph! So anyway, the Crisis on Infinite Earths had this several issue event that did away with all of the extra Earths.
Right.
And simplified the DC universe into one Earth, one history, one continuity.
But what they kind of did was they were like, okay, all of you Earths are gonna battle.
Oh, no. I think you're thinking about Convergence.
No, that's Convergence.
They did that in Convergence. No,
see, this is too many damn reboots.
Exactly. You lose track of them after a while. It's like, well, which Superman are you talking about? You talking about New 52 Superman? Pre-New 52?
Long hair rebirth Superman?
Pre-52, but post-Crisis on Infinite Earths, regular diesel or unleaded Superman? I have no clue. So, but that was, I think, a much-needed reboot, which fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your point of view, they basically undid with because they brought back the multiverse in, I think, Convergence, and I think they did it they even did it in Final Crisis.
Yeah.
So for me anyway, Crisis on Infinite Earth, I think, was a reboot that was functionally did what it needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the story was very good. So I like that one. What about you?
Like I said, comic book wise, I agree with you there. For me, really the big change, like Marvel wise, I really loved was the Ultimates, and they made it a different world. Like it was their own kind of world. Mm-hmm. But for me, I love that they updated everything. They made Captain America actually in a military uniform. He's not in spandex.
Visually, yeah, what they did for the Captain America
Yeah.
costume, even with the Ultimates now universe passing, they've retained, I think, a lot of those elements.
I loved that. They actually showed a little bit more depth. They actually kind of changed the characters around, which I love, like Hank Pym. You know, nobody really liked Ant-Man. You know, they were like, who gives a crap? He's a guy who rides on an arrow. They actually kind of... I love it because he's jaded. Because he tried to get on a team before. They didn't let him on the team, and now they need his help. And what does he do?
He had kind of a competition with Bruce Banner.
Yes. And with Stark. And, like, it was all three of them.
And with Stark, yeah,
the issue.
That's right.
But, like, you know, I think it's one of the cells. It's one of my favorites. Shield comes in to talk to him, and he's got his helmet on, and all of a sudden you look behind him, and it says, "Screw you and ants." You know, I mean, he's
now that's how you resign.
That's exactly
how you resign. If you want to just resign from your job, you do it with that. You get ants. I don't know how you could do it. Maybe you get some honey, like spell out "screw
something."
You. Bring the ants with you, but that's how you resign from a job.
But you know, like I said, but it also showed it kind of in depth because it shows him like he's kind of a fragile guy. His ego kind of, you know, screws with him. And then Janet kind of keeps poking at him, you know. And
there's this horribly brutal domestic violence scene.
It's kind of a scary scene. But
it is.
But, you know... and
it's domestic violence with superpowers.
And the thing is, for me, that I looked at it, and I still look at it, and I'm like, wow, dude. They kind of went there, and it was like they went total cartoon on it. How does he finish her off? She shrinks down into wasp size.
So Hank Pym and his wife, the Wasp, are having a fight.
They're having a
domestic violence fight. They're fighting.
She's actually winning.
Yeah, she's kicking the shit out of him.
She's kicking the crap out of him, and then she starts stinging him and all this kind of stuff. What does he do? He takes out like a can of Raid, and he just sprays her. And, you know, it's terrible.
Take that.
Yeah, but they were like one of the first, you know, they showed, yeah, guess what? Being a superhero is not easy.
And I mean, they really captured the humanity of those characters. I mean, in that scene, I mean, you have this horrible episode. It was, you know, the cartooniness of the spray can aside, it's this very human scene about these two flawed people and their dysfunctional relationship, and it was done really well.
Well, even still, like, you know, like I said, with Hank, is you know, he becomes Giant Man, and he's in the suit and all this kind of stuff, and they're like, Hank, stick to the mission. He's looking, he goes, mind your own damn business. Like, he's not a team player.
No.
But before, you know, he'd always been that little sidekick. And he's like, okay, guys, I'll do whatever you want. Oh, you want me to ride on this arrow? You got it. You know? I mean,
no problem.
No problem.
I'm your man. No, they
Ant-Man.
The Ultimates definitely added dimension to a lot of the characters.
Movie-wise,
yeah.
I'll say, I think DC started with the good they needed a reboot, and it started with the Christopher Nolans, like the Batman Begins, and that was really where it all started. And
you're not counting Superman Returns, I notice.
No, because
that preceded.
That movie was decent up until Superboy pushes the damn piano. That pissed me off. Like, literally, I remember being in the theater, and I literally stood up, raised my hands in the air, and went, done, and I walked out.
Oh my god.
I refused.
I feel like that needs explanation. Explain why. Why were you offended by that scene?
Superman can't impregnate Lois. It's impossible. They talk about it all the time.
Well, you see, Chris, when a man and a woman love each other
he
very,
shoots
very
her,
much.
Yes, but when he arrives, it'll be like a shotgun blast, and then she's not going to have a head. And he's probably going to kill the neighbors, too.
Oh, Chris. I'm sorry, sir, but must I remind you that the Superman Returns movie takes place in the Donner continuity. In that Donner continuity, I'm putting on my super nerd glasses now. Excuse me, Chris. May I remind you that in Superman 2, Superman gives up his powers, in which he shares a romantic evening with Lois Lane, night on which they conceive said child, ergo he was fully human.
Yeah, but even comic book fans don't even recognize Superman 2.
What?
No, they don't with the stupid cellophane S and all.
All
you
right.
do the Donner cut, it's different.
That's what. Yeah, exactly.
You do the Donner cut,
Yeah.
then it's completely
Well,
different.
even in the Donner cut, though, he still loses his powers. in
Absolutely
it.
not.
All right.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
Oh, also, I've got something for you for Superman Returns.
all right,
Superman's drinking beer. Take that. There he is consuming alcohol.
he's all American. He's an all American man. He's one of us.
Superman's... Never mind.
He's. What does he drink? Do you remember what is it? Is he like a
He's a
Pilsner?
Budweiser guy.
Is he a Budweiser?
He's a Budweiser guy.
That makes sense.
With a label out.
He's kind of a label out. He's kind of
label
an
out.
average Joe kind of dude. So, all right. So I guess so. We've kind of shared some of our favorite and not non-preferred relaunches and reboots.
Yeah.
As far as the overall concept goes, of the relaunch, the reboot,
They need to slow down.
so. It is a strategic move when it's used properly, when it's used as a creative tool to move the narrative forward, when it is... See, I don't even know if it... I guess it's necessary in like that Crisis on Infinite Earth type of thing where you have all of this continuity.
Right.
I think if you're looking, though, to redefine a character, I feel like you can move them forward.
Well, I agree with that. Like I was just going to say, you want to do a costume change a little bit or something like that? I'm cool with that. But don't just rip their world apart and then be like, this is it now.
Yeah, and I feel like some
Little
of the things
changes are good, but
well, even big changes, like they gave Batman a son. Like that's canon.
But I agree with that. Though.
Yeah, and that's good.
But it worked.
It moves the character forward. It progresses. Right. It adds something new.
Yeah.
And I think if we want these comic books to be around, when you and I are both old men then I think you need, and to keep it interesting, you need to have the characters grow and evolve, and that's what pissed me off to no end when they ruined Spider-Man. Ruined Spider-Man with that
I've
one.
never seen you this
Oh
angry
my
before.
God! If you can see me, I've got a vein popping out
Holy
in the middle
crap.
of my forehead.
I've got 911 on speed dial.
Ruined. They had so J. Michael Straczynski. He's love him, hate him. I loved his run on The Amazing Spider-Man. He made some very controversial changes to the character. He had Aunt May discover that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Loved it. Hear me. All right, let me make the argument. I'm going to make the argument for you. First of all, okay, you mean to tell me that someone like Peter Parker, who is as close to his family,
right,
is going to lie to them just for the rest of his life?
Mr. Guilty?
Mr. Guilty is going to lie to his Aunt May for the rest of his life. Not to mention that she is such an idiot that she can't see that her nephew is Spider-Man. So
she does his laundry, for Christ's sake.
Right. So that's one. I thought, brilliant move. Two, we have Mary Jane and Peter Parker, they had been split up before that. We didn't get back together. There was even talk of them having a kid, having a baby.
Wait a minute. So they got married and now they're divorced?
You're setting me up for that. You have called down the thunder, sir,
Here it comes.
And I will not disappoint you. What do they do? Do they have them get divorced? No, Chris. I'm glad you asked. They don't have them get divorced. What do? They have Aunt May get shot. And then they have Spider-Man make a deal with Mephisto. Mephisto's... I can't even talk. I'm so angry. Mephisto, Marvel's version of the devil, make a deal with Mephisto, basically, to save the life of Aunt May, but at a cost. And you want to know what that cost was, Chris?
What was that cost, Jay?
The cost was their entire marriage, Peter and Mary Jane's entire marriage, undone. Never happened.
No offense, but I know in a bunch of relationships, that would have been such a terrible deal.
It was just aggravating. You know what? If you don't want them together anymore, just have them get divorced. But don't take a character like Spider-Man and introduce all this metaphysical bullshit to a character that's primarily built on science. Okay.
Or
Urge to kill subsiding.
Or I believe that Aunt May is more of a title figure than Mary Jane. Wouldn't you believe?
A title figure, like a main
You see
character?
her more, than Mary Jane.
Maybe, but I mean...
So, to me, honestly, if they were going to shoot somebody, they could have shot her.
Well, there was actually a what if issue that they did. What if Mary Jane got shot instead? But anyway,
if they had to shoot somebody.
But before my rage builds again, I thought that was one. It wasn't It was sort of a mini reboot within the Spider-Man universe where they start everything over at kind of they reset everything. So Spider-Man's single again. He's not married to Mary Jane. Aunt May's still alive, and that kind of stuff. When you do a reboot in that way, where you're not moving the narrative forward,
exactly.
You're not advancing the character. I just think it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more interesting what makes...
Stop, because then they're going to redo it. Now they're going to be like, okay, we're doing another reboot.
Oh, James says he doesn't like it. Reverse! I don't think that... I would be fine with that. And you know what, Joe...
You want the J edition.
Joe Quesada, if you're listening to this, or whoever, Quesada, if you're... I don't think he's the editor-in-chief. Marvel editor-in-chief, if you're listening to this podcast... Please bring back the marriage.
I cannot believe you just said that.
Yeah, please bring it back, because just bring it back. Bring back to us. Bring back to us.
Oh my god.
And Antuk Sibalinga. Did anyone get that?
Yeah, I got it.
Antuk Sibalinga. Bring back to us. Okay, so anyway, I think it's like a loaded weapon. The reboot is like a loaded weapon. In the hands of the right person, you can do some good. In the hands of the wrong person, it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo!
All right, just simmer down. Urge to kill fading. Chris, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, and Axel Alonso is now the editor-in-chief.
Mr. Axel Alonso.
They're right. You gotta have the...
Mr. Axel Alonso.
Yeah.
Sir, please.
Yeah, sexy talk.
I implore you.
Yeah.
Bring back the marriage of the Spider-Man with the Mary Jane, please.
Yeah.
Please, por favor.
All right.
Yeah,
that's where I'll stand up. Like I said, they need to bring them back, but it needs to be less.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear other people's opinions about this topic. Leave comments on Facebook. Leave comments on YouTube.
I thought you said condiments. I was like, how's I gonna leave ketchup on there?
Leave condiments. You want to leave condiments? That's cool too. I mean, ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce, whatever. I'm good.
But yeah, no, I agree, guys. The more you interact with us, the more we can have fun. The more that we can actually talk to you guys, which is actually going to be up to our next part. That I'm kind of excited. You wanted to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And if you send us a letter, I promise you, and I will do my best. This is my vow to you.
I like this. Actually.
I will read your letter, doing the impression of your choice.
Yeah.
Within the best of my ability. So let's say you want to have Christopher Walken read your letter. Hey, I'll do it if that's what you want. That's just a little taste. Just a little taste. That's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get. You want Arnold reading your letter? That's fine. I'll read your letter. It's good. Perfect performance. I really love it. Just a little taste.
So,
just a little taste.
Like I said, the more you interact, the more we've had. And I'll be honest with you, the response that we've had since this is our 4th episode,
it's been great.
Absolutely you guys make the show, and being told your ideas and what you guys like and what you guys want us to talk about is really what makes our show. And that's something I want to bring out to, as I call them this week. I call them the squad members.
I like that.
Yeah, the Just Us Nerd squad members and
June squad.
The June squad. See, I like that. And so you guys, get in contact with us, because that's how this works. We're doing this for fun.
This is a conversation,
but it's for us.
This is not meant to be a lecture. This is a conversation.
So, with that in mind, we actually received a decent number of letters. Actually, we got a bunch of emails and stuff like that talking about the show, and except that one guy, and you know who you are. He told us that we need to jump in front of a bus. Well, I'm going to find you, sir.
Yeah,
I will find you.
We will find you.
All
right.
right.
It's just a matter of
So, out of the hat, I picked one. And it's...
What kind of hat was it?
What kind of hat?
Yeah, well, you said you picked it out of a hat. Is it like a fedora or like a magician's hat?
Ah.
Was it like the Harry Potter sorting hat?
No, it was like a derby.
Okay.
See?
All right. Like a bowler?
Yeah, it was a bowler.
All right.
Yeah.
So you drew a letter out of a bowler. All right.
So this is from Jeremy in New York.
Okay.
Jeremy reads. See?
Doing the Casey Kasem.
Gotta do that.
All right.
All right. Jeremy reads, "Hey guys, love the show. Wanted to talk to you guys about movies. I'm a huge movie buff. What are you guys excited about for this summer? Because there's going to be tons of summer movies coming." So Jeremy says, "Keep up the good work. Can't wait to listen. Party on. Have fun."
Oh, party on, Jeremy.
Party on, Jeremy. All right.
This summer's huge. I mean, the elephant at the 600-pound gorilla, or elephant, or animal of your choice.
Ooh! We could call him a beast boy, if you will.
We would call him the 500-pound beast boy in the room. Civil War.
Oh God,
that
is going to be probably the biggest movie this summer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so excited for this.
Now I gotta ask, which side are you on?
I think I'm Team Cap.
All right.
I think
I'm a Team Cap, man.
I think I'm Team Cap, but you know what? If this movie's really good, I think the movie's going to make me struggle with it.
But the thing is, I don't know if you've... I'm one of those, I like to read a little bit about the... I try to find storylines, I try to find, hidden stuff. I like spoilers. I really don't care. But for me, I don't think it's going to actually be a lot based on the comic.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. 'Cause if you think about some of the greatest, Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier did not, it borrowed elements from the Ed Brubaker novel, but it didn't follow it lockstep. And I think it was great. I think it's one of the best Marvel movies they've made.
That, honestly, is my favorite Captain America movie. But you know what the easy thing was for me was they actually showed how strong he really is. And it had Cap knocking people through doors and actually using his shield. Doing all kinds of... And showing that he's a fast learner. He's learned all these martial arts since that time.
It's got some of the best fight choreography. That scene where he's fighting Batroc.
Yes. Who's GSP, by the way, George St. Pierre.
Okay.
An MMA
oui.
star. Very fantastic. He's French-Canadian.
Où se trouve la salle de bain, as they say in French.
Yeah.
Where's the bathroom? Very important. Very important phrase to learn.
So... but you also see other characters that we've kind of seen coming together. We get to see, of course, Ant-Man with it. But there's the hint. Do you want me to spoil it or no?
Spoil it.
Okay. He is going to be Giant Man. And it really, to be honest, though, there's like pop figures of Giant Man and stuff like that already out. So I'm not really spoiling anything.
It was spoiled already.
Then we have Falcon kind of finally coming into his own. One thing you see in the trailer, too, which I thought was a neat thing, he has Red Wing.
Yeah, as the drone.
It's a drone.
I love. That's such a great update.
Yeah.
I love that. See, that's an example. We were talking about reboots, reimaginings. That's a reboot, reimagining done right.
For an update.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, too, he took his wings and he takes them off and kind of makes like a riot shield out of them. You'll see him walking and his wings are like bulletproof shield kind of a thing.
I like that.
And, another thing we're going to see what happened to Brock Rumlow. And we're going to see Crossbones. And, I
was just going to say, before you move on to anything else, my brother, Rando.
Yeah, Lando.
Rando. Yeah.
Whatever works.
Not a fan of Falcon. If we ever have him on the show, it's so funny because he's got like such an engineering brain, and he's like, why do you even need a Falcon? You have Iron Man. Like, he flies. What is the point of a Falcon? He's like basically Iron Man, but not as cool. He's
got machine guns.
Oh, yeah. My brother goes, oh, machine gun, so what? Whatever. Like, pew, 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 pew. Well, Iron Man's got repulsor blast. I'm playing the part of
not only with one Iron Man, we kind of have two. We get War Machine back.
Yeah, exactly. You just made me think of that. That's all. Please, I didn't mean to
so
interrupt
we get
you.
War Machine back. Another thing that I thought was great in the trailer, you see more of Scarlet Witch. And she does a superhero landing!
Yeah!
It is
totally impractical.
It's bad on the knees.
Really bad on the knees.
Really bad.
Not good at all.
But she was able to stick it out, and, I'm excited to see it. So that is when I'll probably be there day one.
May 6th? You realize we're a week away from it.
We are a week away.
We are totally having an entire episode dedicated to reviewing.
What are we excited about?
Well, how do you feel about Ninja Turtles? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Now let me tell you a little story with this one, because the first movie, I actually had to drag Jay to there.
Literally.
And he, at the end of the movie, looks at me and he goes, I am never seeing another movie again. He just wasn't a fan. Do you want to tell him the Splinter thing? I think that's one of the greatest things, and I loved our conversation with that.
Oh, where do I begin?
Where he learned his martial arts. Start with that.
Okay, so he learned Splinter, the master of the Ninja Turtles, who teaches them the way of the ninja. Where does he learn it? Does he learn it? Training in the Far East somewhere? Does he learn
Follow
it?
Master Yoshi?
Does he go up to Ra's al Ghul's temple in the League of Shadows? Or does he learn it from a karate book that someone managed somehow to flush down a fucking toilet? Any guesses?
Can I?
You want to raise your... Chris has got his hand raised.
Can I
Chris?
interject?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
How does he learn it?
No. Here's my thing, though. Okay, so he didn't learn it from Master Yoshi. Yeah, he learned it from a book, but we have a walking, talking rat who has thought and has a deal concept of himself, and you have an issue with him reading a book.
Yep. Yep, because it takes me out of the movie.
Yep.
I'm gesticulating right now for those of you that...
Oh, my God.
All of you can't see this. Yes.
All right, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Hulks.
Yeah.
They were really big.
They were too big.
And, and then Megan Fox, and...
Just I mean...
All right, so let's talk about the new movie.
The new movie,
Here's
yes.
the thing,
I hate to say that I think I might be excited about this.
I'm really excited. I think Michael Bay might have nailed this one on the head. Because he's actually added a couple more characters.
I don't think he directed it though. See, look, it's directed
by Dave Green.
Dave Green.
So that's great.
I think he's a protege of Michael Bay.
I'm okay with that. But here's the thing I'm excited about. They added Baxter Stockman. And of course, did you see who's playing him?
Medea.
It's Medea himself, Mr. Tyler Perry.
I'm gonna make you some mutants. Hello.
So, but then we get Bebop and Rocksteady.
I know.
And they used Sheamus, who is a WWE star. He's like the bright red hair, and they turned him into Rocksteady. And I think they're going to be great.
It's going to be great. These Michael Bay movies, it's like
ahead
Taco Bell. It's like Taco Bell. Like, you see it, and it's like, when you eat it, you're going to regret it later that you ate it. But
you really don't care.
You eat it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're going to sucker me in. I know they're going to sucker me in. So I don't know if that I would call that excited.
But I love the banter. Like, you actually see Michelangelo in one of the trailers. He looks at Bebop and he goes, "Whoa, you're rocking the mohawk. Good for you, dude." And he looks at me and goes,
"Oh, y'all got jokes, huh?"
And that's funny.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. You got Stephen Amell.
We got Stephen Amell.
TV's Green Arrow.
He is Casey Jones. How do you feel about him not having the long hair?
Elias Koteas is Casey Jones.
I agree.
He will always be Casey Jones.
Yeah, I get it.
No disrespect to Stephen Amell.
He's a big guy. He'll kill you.
But he probably would. But I'm sorry, sir, but you can beat me to a pulp. You are not Casey Jones.
Nope.
Elias Koteas. And you know what? You can try to beat me to a pulp. Elias Koteas will protect me.
That's right.
So there you go.
But I'm excited to see him with that. The only thing I didn't like, he has a car. And it's something stupid as that.
And he's wearing rollerblades, which, you can't be a badass and wear rollerblades. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. But they kind of made the turtle smaller. So I think that's going to be, I think this one's going to be a lot better than the last one. So...
Okay.
I agree.
You want to talk about... I think we got to move it along. You want to talk about...
Let's talk about one more.
One more? Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about... Oh, I want two more, actually.
Two more.
Let's do...
This is our podcast.
We can do as we please.
Do whatever we... No rules. This is Thunderdome mixed with Outback, baby. No rules.
Now, the 20-year anniversary, and I personally am really excited for this movie, Independence Day Resurgence.
Yeah. I'm curious.
I am too.
Cautiously.
I had heard, well, of course, Will Smith's not in it. Mm-hmm. I had heard he wanted something like $500 million to do this movie.
$500 million.
Jeff Goldblum did it for like $30 in a sandwich. He's like, and his dad is like, "What, you guys getting paid on this?"
Judd Hirsch
is like, "I'll just be in the movie." But so basically, this movie, 20 years afterwards, the first ships that came were scout ships. Now,
is that the premise?
That's it. The actual motherships are coming to...
We're going to play this shit on hard mode.
That's it. That's exactly what this is. And Liam Hemsworth isn't in it, so we've got younger Thor.
We got younger Thor. Okay, that's special.
Like I said, Bill Pullman. And I want to hear the "must go faster, must go faster."
What you thought you could do was take Aliens and. Before you even thought about if you could, you didn't even stop to think about whether or not you should.
You know what I I always love him, and the reason why I love him is it's kind of like he has no idea what he's talking about. He's always like thinking.
He's
like,
great. He's like, it's coming out of his mouth just as he's saying
exactly.
No, that's a good idea, Chris. Yeah. Before you even knew what you had. Okay.
All right. So I give that one. I'll probably be there that week to go see it. I'm not going to go see it the day of, but I'll go see it. And the last one I want to talk about is the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
We got to talk about the new Ghostbusters.
Sure.
Why don't we read the premise. Basically,
it's a reboot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a reboot. It's very appropriate because we're just talking about.
It is a reboot.
reboots.
All right, so now they've done an all-female Ghostbusters, which I'm okay with. I'm not,
It seems gimmicky to me.
Here's the thing.
To me, it seems gimmicky.
It's Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones. And I looked at it, and I saw the trailer, and I'll say, this is kind of like what we say with our comic books. Visually, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. Story, oh, God, I'm not going to see this movie. And what
You're not going to go see it?
No, this will probably be a Redbox, if that.
Oh, wow.
But the thing that kind of makes me mad...
I like all of these. I mean, these are all funny ladies.
Right, I don't...
And I like Paul... Is it Paul Feig?
I think so, yeah.
Paul Feig, the guy who did...
Bridesmaids
and The Heat and Spy.
But I don't know. It's...
I don't see the need to make it a reboot, though. Why can't you just... I don't
do a new team.
What I don't understand was, just... advance the story, and this is a perfect example of where you could be doing a reboot to advance the story. If you want to have an all-girl, all woman Ghostbuster team, fine, do it. I don't have a problem. But
we don't need this.
But it's just to do it as a reboot seems unnecessary.
I think they're just going to take the original script and they're just going to update it. But the thing that made me mad too, the car, they're kind of pandering. It looks like the Ecto-1, but it's really not the Ecto-1 because now it's made of a hearse. It's not an ambulance.
Do something new.
Do something new.
If you're go full measure. Don't if you're gonna go all the opposite direction. You're gonna do all female Ghostbusters. Do something new.
And the new suits, they look like crossing guards. They've got like the reflective tape and all that kind of crap on them. And
I'm all right with it visually.
I don't like it.
For me, from a creative perspective, I just think it's a missed opportunity to advance the story.
No, I personally am not a fan, but I do hear... Here's the thing that kind of made me mad, though. Do you know who signed off on this? Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray both signed off on this.
Well, I mean, Dan Aykroyd's been wanting a sequel for Ghostbusters for years.
From what I had heard... what they were going... But here's the thing. They're doing this one, and then they said in 4 years, they're doing another one with all guys. And they want Chris Pratt and all people like that. So
is it going to take place in the same universe?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I probably will see this in the theaters because I'm curious about it. But from what I've seen so far, I don't like... They're not starting off with the warm and fuzzies with me.
No offense, ladies. You're not going to get my money.
No, you guys are all... I mean, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, all of them. I think they're very talented. They're very funny. I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. All right.
So you want to move on now just to Toy Box?
Why don't we?
All right, yeah, we'll go on to Toy Box. I didn't have any particular upcoming toys that I was going to talk about this week, but you went to our friends at Viera Comics this week.
I did.
And you posted on Facebook about it.
You guys can go on the Facebook and actually see this. That's actually where I bought my Rocketeer issue, and that's actually where I bought my my Shadow with the Twilight Zone. The owner, Pete, was actually the one who turned me on to the Twilight Zone Shadow because was like, because I started telling him what I like, and automatically he's like, hey, which was kind of neat for me. He was wearing a Captain America suit, not shirt, suit.
It's not every day that the Sentinel of Liberty
is there giving you comic
literally
books.
Selling you comics. Read this, citizen.
One of the things that they do there, a lot of your conventions and stuff like that, they have what's known as a mystery box. Basically, they take odds and ends of whatever.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking that episode of Family Guy where...
What's in the mystery box?
Where you could leave with this boat, or you could get the mystery box. Peter, what are you talking about? Pick the boat!
Wait. It could be a boat.
Wait a minute, Lois. A boat's a boat, but a mystery box could be anything. There could even be a boat in there. Then just pick the boat!
We know how much we want a boat. So they did a mystery box, but what was kind of neat for them is normally at cons, you pay $25, and it could be anything in there. These guys, what they actually
Severed
did...
head?
It could be. I've told them, I said, if this is going to be a severed head, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
But what they actually do is they actually have them sectioned off. They have little labels on them. And they had ones for Walking Dead. They had ones that were specifically Star Wars, ones that were specifically Star Trek, DC, Marvel, whatever. But the one that I got, it was a combine. It was a DC and Marvel. Mm-hmm. You pay $25 for it.
Yeah.
But it is a guaranteed at least $50 worth of merchandise.
Oh, okay.
So, came in nice little wrapping paper and all this kind of stuff, and the girlfriend picked up the wrapping paper because it had elephants on it.
Ooh.
Well, you kind of had the white elephant in the room. Is that
Good
kind
choice.
of what?
Good choice.
So we pick it out. I open it up, and I actually got a plethora of stuff. I actually think I picked a good box.
Would you say I have a plethora?
Yes, a plethora.
Do you know what a plethora means?
No, jefe.
No, jefe. Could it be El Guapo that perhaps you're upset about something else?
Oh, my
and
God.
You are taking it out on me?
All right. So, God, I can't believe we just went there.
That just happened. We just worked in a Three Amigos reference.
Gonna make it.
We didn't. Gonna make it. Gonna make it.
Not gonna make it.
Look up here.
So,
Look up here. Look up here. Look up here.
one of the things, the biggest thing that I got from them was a Marvel Essentials Amazing Spider-Man. This is a giant comic book. It is black and white. And what did we say it was? What years?
It's like 1970. Well, I know because 1978,
1976 through 1978.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's black and white, but I'll tell you what, it's really cool because this is like the heart of Spider-Man. This is when things kind of got interesting.
Yeah.
I really like
this is
that.
like I don't know. We were talking about the Jackal during one of our previous podcasts. Is the Jackal?
I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't had a chance to
haven't read it
look
yet. Okay.
Two of the things that I got, I don't want to say I'm a fan of these, but they're called Dorbs figures, and what they are these little. They look like the little Russian dolls, don't they? The little.
They do. I was thinking they actually look like a reverse Weeble.
I can see that.
Weeble, Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Yeah, but this one will fall down.
Oh, this will totally fall down.
And this one ain't getting up.
He's got a massive cranium.
So, but they have little smiles on them or whatever. And two of them that I got were Marvel, and one of them was a Magneto. And we'll tell you, he does not look like he hates the world.
I do not believe that this Magneto wants to kill and enslave humanity.
No,
I think he wants to give
everyone hugs.
A big metal hug.
Yep. And then the other one is Beast. And he's, and it's kind of neat for them, like...
They're just so darn cute.
They are. And he's got, like, this big giant head, and, like, the Beast, he's got this little tiny body. Yeah, right. And, he's got the big giant haircut and all this kind of stuff. So, and they even added his little teeth on Beast.
They're cute. They're cute. Little
cool to
tchotchkes
put
for
up.
the office.
Yeah, of course. The other thing that I got was another pop figure. I got a...
Can you explain maybe what the pop figures are for people who don't know what they are?
So, you should by now, unless you live under a rock. Pop figures are everywhere. At first, I was never a fan of them. This isn't something that I want to collect, exclusively, because... Honestly, I look at them and I'm like, they're kind of goofy looking. They've got a big giant head and a little cartoon body, and their eyes are always either all white or all black. So this one I got a Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Historic court case.
Yes, of course. Aquaman, which is kind of cool for me.
Based off of kind of Jason Momoa. He's got the tats and everything.
And he's got this, big old head, and he's got his trident and little leather pants, but it gives me an idea of what we're kind of going to see with, Aquaman. And
you think they're gonna do some like some CGI and make Jason Momoa's head like
freaking ginormous,
disproportionately large?
Yeah,
like Batman and Superman are gonna be like uncomfortably looking at each other. Like, do you think he knows his head is that big?
What are you guys talking about? So, but one of the things I actually got excited about because I saw the paint job on his hair is, if you've seen him lately, people were kind of pissed off because he's not blonde. He's got that dark hair. Mm-hmm. But if you look. They're actually lightening his hair up a lot. So it's going to be like a light brown to a blonde. It's not going to be, completely blonde, but I'm okay with it. I mean, like I said, it's really cute. Another tchotchke, you can put up in the office.
Sure.
So I got those 4 things, and then I got a Superman bottle opener, which how can you go wrong when you have the the Sentinel of Liberty helping you open up a beverage?
You don't want to get drunk without the Man of Steel watching your back.
Apparently.
People keep you out of trouble.
Right. So, but, I got all of that for $25. I recommend, if you guys get a chance, go into the store, say hi, let them know that the Just Us Nerds sent you there, because they're a fantastic local shop, and we really, really approve and applaud what they do. Now, I got another figure, and I know you and I had the debate of, originally you were going to get him, then you weren't going to get him. And
He's a wee Batman.
Yeah, he is.
He's a wee Batman. You know what? This is me.
This is you.
This is me. If I'm Batman, I should be excited about this figure.
Exactly.
This is me.
So what I got was the DC Comics Icons Batman figure. This one has great articulation, and it comes with so much stuff. He actually comes with 4 different hands, one of which actually is connected to a grappling hook that I actually have him hanging up from one of my shelves.
Yeah, rappelling down.
I have him rappelling down.
Cool.
Comes with 2 batarangs. You know, and like I said, the articulation on him, he's got wrist, he's got forearm, he's got bicep, and not just bicep, then he's got the shoulder.
You got ankle pivot at all?
Nope.
No ankle pivot?
No ankle pivot, but he's got calf and then the boot, the actual toe. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess you can call that a pivot.
No, I mean, it doesn't. It pivots forward and backwards, but not side to side.
But
so you can't get them in like those kind of wide stance
Right,
poses.
but what's kind of cool that I like is actually look at the knee. It's separate. There's 2 separate joints.
Yeah,
it's not just one locking joint.
Yeah, that's nice.
Paint job. I love the paint job on this. It's this beautiful midnight blue, and you know he's got the white eyes, the big black bat across his chest. It's more of a Damian Wayne kind of Batman bat.
Yeah,
you notice that?
So? I think it looks more like the kind of the Jim Lee Hush Batman symbol to me.
See how he's got the smaller head?
Yeah. Phrasing.
Yeah, that's right. So, but detail-wise, they actually show like the folds in his fabric. His boots, you know, you can actually see they're shinier than the rest of the fabric, just like his gauntlets.
Yeah.
His head, he's actually got eyebrows. He's got, he's got eyebrows in there, the eyes. He looks pissed off, but that's Batman. It's Batman. Okay. He's got smaller ears, which I like. The cape, like I said, I think the cape is so cool. It actually molds to his body.
He's got a nice sculpt.
Yep. Yeah. He's tiny though. That's the thing.
He's wee Batman.
He is wee Batman.
He's a wee Batman.
He's not like a G.I. Joe height, but he's,
I'd say he's not like most action figures like the Marvel Legends and the DC Multiverse.
No, he's
are about
smaller.
They're like 6-inch tall figures. This I'd say is probably, it's just shy of that. You're right, it's bigger than a G.I. Joe, but it's just slightly smaller. I think the reason for this is because this is supposed to be Dick Grayson as Batman.
Which I'm cool with. I've always liked that. But the thing that I like about this Icons series is they all kind of interact. And what I mean by that is...
I know what you're going to say.
They actually have other figures that coincide with other figures. Like, they have a Dead Man figure. And what he comes with his head, but they come with the top portion of his torso.
Dead Man, for those of you not familiar, this is a supernatural character in DC who's essentially a ghost and has the power to possess the living.
So in this, they actually have the top portion of his body, and it's kind of see-through. And you can put it over any of the figures, and he'll actually take over. So it shows that he's possessed. Another thing that they do an accessories box. Where, like, your Flash, it comes with a different set of hands where it shows him, like, running. It shows, like, the whoosh, like the lightning.
The effects,
they
cool.
have trophy cases. They have, like, Dr. Fate's helmet. They have, like, a thing of kryptonite encased. They come with, Batman comes with more, batarangs. They come with different batarangs. For Green Arrow, comes with different arrows, trick arrows.
I think, like, on Big Bad Toy Store, there's an accessory pack.
It is.
You can buy.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Talking about.
They're like 21 or $22. But what comes with them is just really neat and makes you want to buy them. So I give it, what are we doing? We rating them out of 10?
Sure.
For the
how many batarangs you giving this figure?
Out of 10?
Out of 10, yeah.
I'd give it 8.
8 out of 10 batarangs.
The only reason, like I said...
First try.
It's kind of short. And that's really it. He's kind of small.
Hey, man. I know short.
He knows.
And short is awesome.
See?
So...
All right.
You know what? Let me give you a scenario, all right? You got to fight 2 dudes, all right? I'm telling you, you got to fight one dude who's 6 feet tall, never been in a fight in his life, or you got to fight 5'6" Batman.
Oh.
Who you want to fight?
I'm going to fight that big guy.
You're going to fight that big guy, right?
That's right.
Doesn't matter.
Nope.
Ass kickings come in small packages. Boom! I'm going to put that on a bumper sticker or something like that. I'm going to mint that. Anyway, all right, cool. So you like this. Where'd you find this? So just sort of people want to look for it.
Actually, believe it or not, I went on Big Bad Toy Store. You can actually go to your local comic book stores. I've seen them there. Like I said, I saw them at Viera Comics. I saw them at a couple other stores as well. So,
Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
You think we got time to do required reading?
Yeah, let's finally talk about it. I mean,
Okay.
it's got to end.
It's
we've,
good.
we've
This must end.
we've been talking about this for
This
for
has
weeks.
to end now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally talking about The Nail.
The nail. Okay, so this is part of a section that I call required reading, which is just a time where we talk about books or graphic novels that we've read that just are really cool and we want to share it with you.
Yeah.
So The Nail is an Elseworlds story by DC, and Elseworlds is sort of a series of stories that are told that they take place outside of the main continuity.
Yeah.
Sort of a Twilight Zone, if you will, of the...
If you will.
Imagine a DC universe taking place outside of the DC universe. During okay, I can't think.
DC cataclysm.
A DC cataclysm. Anyway, the seizures are becoming less and less frequent, Chris. It's okay.
Medication helps.
Yes, the Neurontin is helping. So they take place outside of the main continuity, so it gives you an opportunity to kind of do a what if. So
Right.
What if Bruce Wayne's parents hadn't been killed? And this story is what if there were no Superman in the DC universe?
And actually, I think the best way that it describes it, they actually have this. Would you call it a poem?
It is. It's
a verse.
Yeah, it's a verse. It's for want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the knight was lost. For want of a knight, the battle was lost. So it was a kingdom was lost, all for want of a nail.
So basically, what they mean is if one thing, basically the butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect.
One
absolutely.
thing goes wrong, everything else changes.
So if you're saying if you cast Ashton Kutcher in a movie, then the whole movie goes wrong? Is that what you're saying?
No, maybe. I don't know.
So in this story, it begins with a scene we've seen replayed in comic books and movies time and again. Ma and Pa Kent, they're about to get into their pickup.
Only to find
there is a nail in the tire of their truck,
and he can't fix it because he doesn't have a flat, or he doesn't have a spare.
So they decide to stay in. So what pivotal event did they miss? They miss the landing of Superman. Clark arriving on Earth, and that's all you see. We're not going to spoil the ending for you, but that's basically all you see. Now flash forward. We are introduced to a DC Universe continuity that reminds me somewhat of like the Silver Age sort of 80s DC continuity, but with some significant differences. For one, we have no Superman. No one's ever heard of a Superman before. We have Lex Luthor
is mayor.
He's mayor of Metropolis.
Instead of the Daily Planet being it still might have a newspaper, but they have WGBS News. And actually,
that's more of the Silver Age continuity.
Perry White is actually the host of the show, but you also come to find out that Jimmy Olsen is the deputy mayor underneath Lex Luthor.
Right.
And they actually kind of talk about his zany antics from like the 60s.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool how he got turned into Turtle Boy and
Red Devil,
Elastic Lad, and So it's referencing events that take place in that Silver Age DC universe continuity.
But of course, I guess you can take the guy out of the city, but never the city out of the guy. I guess you can take the evil out of Lex Luthor, kind of a situation.
But you can't take the Lex Luthor out of the evil.
Right. He's still got a problem with the metahumans, and he wants to basically eradicate them.
So even in the absence of Superman, his platform is that we cannot tolerate having these superhuman beings among us, basically making decisions for us. So that's very consistent with the character.
Yeah. So
now we have in this story. So we have the Justice League basically without a Superman. And Chris, this is a
much darker Justice League.
This is a much darker Justice League. This is a much darker story because we have characters that are dead in this continuity that aren't normally dead.
They actually make fun of Diana because of her outfit. Like Hawkgirl tells her by she says that they must be symbols of good, and Wonder Woman saying that, and then she looks at her, or Hawkgirl looks at her and says, "How? By dressing up for politicians?" And she has her cute little outfit on, and
she basically tells her, "How would we do that, Diana? By dressing up like a whore."
No, whore.
Whore.
A whore, as my mother would say.
If you're listening to this with your children, I am so sorry.
Yes. Now we've just taught them a word.
Now we've taught them a word, and you've got to deal with that. So I'm really sorry.
So, but it comes to find out, the Justice League needs a press agent.
And who is that press agent, Chris?
Oh, why don't we have anybody else? We'll pick Lois Lane.
Lois Lane, perfect.
She's kind of got a...
Got a little bit of a bob going on.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
The haircut, but
no, that's kind of like a Three Stooges.
Like a mo. It's
kind of a mo.
No, for the time, I think it was fashionable.
I guess.
But that aside, I mean, she's very, her characterization is very consistent with the
pretty much the same
continuity.
Nosy reporter.
I love her exchanges with Batman.
Yep, she tells him he's basically unhelpable.
Yeah, that she's like, I am here to help people not be afraid of you, and you are not helping me, sir. By scaring the shit out of people.
And basically he goes, well, that's my job.
That's my job.
That's my job.
Get out of my way.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. And dramatically, that's Batman dramatically.
So anyway, they have their meeting and Batman finds out that Arkham is being taken over.
Shit's going down.
Right. Joker basically is taking shit over, and he's kind of got some mechwar.
He's been, someone has equipped the Joker with some
power gauntlets?
technology, power gauntlets, and he has taken over Gotham.
So it's pretty cool.
Not Gotham, Arkham. Arkham.
So, we don't want to, I don't want to give everything away.
This is a great mystery. I mean, it's a great story. It's a mystery because there is a mastermind behind all of this.
Right.
You don't know who the mastermind is, and when you find out, Chris, I think you're going to be very surprised.
Yep.
So I completely recommend it. This is called The Nail. It's an Elseworlds tale written by Alan David and then drawn by Mark Farmer.
That'd be Alan Davis.
So, Alan Davis? Oh,
Davis.
Pardon me. Sorry, sir. Alan Davis. So get out to your local comic book store, pick up a copy of this, or you probably find it in Barnes & Noble or on Amazon.
Pretty much wherever you buy your comics, it's probably there.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, folks, like Doc Brown, we are out of time, so we're going to have to ask you all politely to make like a tree and get out of here. But before we go, please... contact us, be part of the conversation, email us at justusnerdspc, that's PC as in podcast, at gmail.com. Please like us on Facebook. Man, that sounded really desperate.
Yeah.
Please,
All right.
like us on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook.
We have healthy self-esteem. Visit our Facebook page. You can see pictures of the things that we're talking about. You can listen to more of this podcast on SoundCloud.
Yeah, we're updated now on SoundCloud.
We're updated now. You can check out previous episodes there, and we look forward to hearing from your comments. So,
absolutely.
On behalf of myself, Jay, and Chris, we'd like to thank you for listening, and we'll be with you next time. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.